Good afternoon, and good afternoon. How are you guys? How's everything? So, today gear review. It's about this. It's not about the camera. It's about this lens. This is Nikon 24-70 2.8 S lens. Yes. What's so special about it? Well, everything is special about this lens. There are lots of variations for 24 to 70 2.8 in the market, from Sony G Master, from Canon 24-70 2.8, and Nikon itself got two variations: 24-70 2.8 G type and 24-70 2.8 E type, which comes with VR. All right. What's so special about this lens in compared to the rest of the guys? Well, let me tell you straight away, bar none, no question asked. I was reviewing this lens before I even had this lens, and there was two sources which confirms me that this lens is the only 24-70 which literally provides result edge to edge sharp across all the focal lengths, and not only sharp but is the only lens right now in the market which has zero chromatic aberration across all the apertures and across all the focal lengths. I don't know how Nikon did that, but Nikon really nailed it. And I was comparing this thing with the prime lenses, and there is one video from Nikon Richie on the YouTube. Even that lens was surpassing. That's a zoom lens, and zoom lenses are typically not that sharp or not that as good and compared to prime, but this is the only zoom lens from Nikon which literally surpassing the prime lenses when it comes to overall image quality. 24 1.8s, this lens surpassed it. 35 1.8, I'm talking about wide aperture open shooting, like at 2.8. So those prime lenses like 24 1.8, 35 1.8, even 85 1.8, when they were compared at 2.8 with this zoom lens, all of them were behind and not as sharp as this was at 2.8. Typically, when you are having the maximum aperture, you are having fall off, you are having vignetting, you are having less sharpness at the edges, stuff like that. This one nailed it straight away. And I'm using this lens at 2.8 or if at f16, it doesn't matter. This lens literally providing you edge to edge sharpness, central sharpness, zero chromatic aberration, and the micro contrast. It is providing micro contrast. Surprisingly, I don't know how, but it is. Another attribute about this lens is this. The reason I put that lens on camera body because I want to show you guys this. You see this this little display. This little display is basically for changing the focal length. Yep. So you can basically change the focal length and you can see what it is right now. So it's 70 mm all the way 24, and I can change that. There is a display button, so I can change that information to, this is the depth of field scale from zoom. I can adjust it. This is zoom. So this is the aperture. So if I'm changing the aperture, you see that's changing the aperture zoom. So I don't have to look into the camera. I can look into the lens. That's another thing. All right, and the next is this depth of field scale. That's really great. So I know how much like depth of field I can get from nearest to the farthest. And if I change the aperture value, this thing starts changing. You see, that's narrow depth of field, very shallow depth of field. So now I'm increasing the depth of field. So that's a very handy thing. There is another thing about this lens. Basically this lens comes with 3 rings. One for the zoom, one for the focus, and there is another one. This one is basically customized, so you can customize the function of this lens, of this ring, using any of the functions which you in the camera you can. I basically assigned it for exposure compensation. So in the Z6 there is an option that what kind of function you want to associate with this ring. So the third ring, I assigned it for exposure compensation. So instead of pressing this camera, or instead of using this back command dial for easy exposure compensation, I assigned with this one. So I can show it to you. If you look into the camera LCD, see, it's negative, now it's positive, it's coming back, it's 0, it's negative, that's positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. So I'm just moving this dial to compensate for this. Now, lens hood is not easy to be taken out. Typically, we just want to put it down, just put it on and turn it around to get it off. It's not like that. There is a lever over here. Initially I thought I put it on. I didn't know that. I didn't notice actually. And I thought, okay, maybe I am having difficulty because I was trying to get rid of it. It's not getting on, and I was like, man, that's a new lens. It's stuck. Then I saw, oh no, there is a knob. You have to press this and then you have to turn it. It's good and bad for you at the same time. Bad in case if you don't forget to press it the knob, you turn it and it will destroy the lens hood. Good, it's safety feature. It's really good. By the way, this lens is really very heavy. It's not easy to. And in fact, if I compare it with the body, the lens is heavier than the body right now in this position. But it's worth every single lens. It's not a cheap lens. It's really an expensive lens. But for me, when it comes to Z-mount lenses, this is my top pick for sharpness. Like if I don't have to take prime lenses. I can take sharp images using this lens because incredible bokeh, incredible fall off, and the colors really best. I mean, I haven't seen any 24-70. I'm not exaggerating. This is one of the best 24-70 right now in the market. It is the king of the hill when it comes to 24-70, period. You can go compare DxO Mark, Tony Northup, any guy you want, you go compare this. Everyone saying this is the best. I'm not going with the words. I bought this lens to personally test, by myself, and I am highly recommended this lens. I used before 24-70 f4. There is a small, baby brother comes with it as a kit lens with the Z 24-70 f4. I use that lens as well. That lens is also very amazing, but that was also already amazing lens. This one still surpassing the 24-70 f4. Further ahead. So I was just wondering how Nikon pull it off. Nikon did pull it off. And consider this lens the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Like S65 or S67. Yeah, S67. Mercedes. Consider this lens like that. Yep, this lens doesn't have the VR. That's the disadvantage, but you already have IBIS in the body, so you are good to go. So that's it. I'm going to wrap up this video right now on this point. I highly recommend this lens on daily life shooting but yeah, that disadvantage is not a disadvantage, is up to you. But kind of a negative thing, it's the weight. This lens is very, very heavy. Comes with so many glass elements, I forget the count. I do have this automatic manual button, so you can switch. 3 rings: focal length, focus, and customize ring. I've configured this as exposure count. Besides, with just one great combination with Z6 or Z7. That's all. Uh, I hope you guys are doing great in this quarantine time. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.